Brodia is home to some of my favorite characters, including Diamant, Alcris, and Yunako. However, is it possible for me to beat Fire Emblem Engage with just Brodian units? The rules for this challenge are simple. Only Brodia units can attack along with Alear. However, other units can support Alear until I recruit the first Brodia unit. DLC also can't be used until Chapter 11, with the respective game they come from. I decided to play on normal as manning is really difficult for Alear to even reach the first Brodia units because of Chapter 4, and hard mode is just a bit too much for a casual player like me.
This is part 3 of my Brodia run, where I go through chapters 12 to 17 located in Song, and 2 paralogs.
Now without further ado, let's see if I can beat Fire Emblem Engage with just Brodia units. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. In Chapter 12, I visited Song and was joined by Fugado's group. I decided to give Alcris the Lin ring as he is the best paired with Lin. I separate Fugado's group from my army and had them body block the top of the map while I fend off the bottom of the map. Pandreo, Fugado, and Brunette dies, but I use this time to help rescue the villagers, especially the elder one as they gave me a Master Seal after I complete the chapter. After I defeat the remaining enemies, I promote Diamant into his personal class and enter another skirmish to kill 2 extra non-Brodia units. Before Chapter 13, I got an extra Master Seal from the well, and I promoted Alear to her Divine Dragon class. Chapter 13 was a struggle as I died and had to restart the chapter. My second attempt involved using Tamara and her group to tank most of the choke points as my army slowly defeats the enemies. I rush to the bottom of the map in hopes I can clear the chapter quicker, but this becomes a huge difficulty spike as each enemy deals more damage to me at this level. I get a rescue staff from the house at the bottom left. Marin and Pinette die first as Tamara is used to bait the enemies towards my army. Tamara then dies to a number of chain attacks and I use the remaining time to defeat the bosses. I decide to promote Yunako to Wolf Knight before going to Chapter 14. In Chapter 14, the Queen is held hostage by Hortensia's army. I gave Diamant Ike's ring as he is the best pair with Ike. I split my army into 2 sides to hopefully get the items in the chests. I use Yunako and Jade to bait the enemies to my units, Alcris to deal with the flyers, and the others to finish off any other enemies. After I get the items in the chest, reinforcements come and go as they fly straight into Alcris' arrows. I use Astral Storm to defeat Zephyr without needing to face her. I had Yunako defeat Mavier and Citrine to defeat Marnie. I went into an all-out rush on Hortensia, defeating her and giving me access to the Byleth ring. I then claimed Edelgard's bracelet that I waited to get the cutscene for. I also decided to change Jade's class to Great Knight to help with her movement. I then entered a skirmish to also kill Hortensia. Chapter 15 was annoying because of the condition to keep Seedal alive. Seedal is useless as he is a part of Somme and I cannot use him as a support, as my army already consisted of Brodia units. I gave Alear Byleth's ring and Lapis Lucina's ring. Without the ability to use Corrin's ring to help change the terrain, the magic tiles were very annoying to deal with as the enemy gets very high defense, while I have to lose my defense. This makes the enemies really tanky and my units as brittle as paper. I make sure not to place any of my units in the magic tiles while also making sure the enemies won't attack my units in the magic tiles. I use Edelgard's Flame Gambit and Ike's Great Ether to remove some of the magic tiles near the end. I then get the items in the chest and had Seedal escape the chapter. In Chapter 16, I meet up with Hortensia's retainers and awaken Erica. I kill off Gold Mary, Rosado, and Seedal as they are not Brodian units. I gave Yunako Corn's ring and Jade Edelgard's bracelet. This map was another annoying map because of the limited movement that I get as the water keeps on rising up. I rushed the middle part of the map while having Jade and Diamant hold the flank for any reinforcements. I used Yunaka to bait Marnie into my army and launch a barrage of attacks on Marnie, defeating her. This causes Mavier to advance to my army, which was a huge mistake for him. I defeat him and move on to Chapter 17. Chapter 17 is known as one of the hardest maps in Fire Emblem Engage. I decide to give Amber Erica's ring. I first decide to bait Gris into warping close to my army with Yunaka, and then attack them with my whole army, defeating him. I then slowly make my way to Mavier and Marnie. Amber almost dies a ton in this chapter because I put Ike's engraving on the smash weapon, making him always get doubled. I bait Marnie into my army and use Alear to finish her off. After that, I use Yunaka to weaken Mavier and Amber, who almost dies again, to finish Mavier off. I then slowly try to bait Zephyr, to which she dies to Alcris. I then bait Hyacinth and also finish him off with Alcris. In order to fight Vale, I use Yunaka to bait her into my army and finish her off with Jade. Lucina's paralogue is one of the easiest paralogues in the game. I rushed my army in range for Lucina to be baited by Lapis. I then launched a huge attack on Lucina, ending the battle with Amber. Lynn's paralogue is kinda difficult because of the number of bow enemies in the paralogue. I decide to rush my way towards Lynn while giving the archers no chance to counterattack. I try getting my units as close as I can to Lynn before she starts attacking. Luckily, most of my units have high defense, making the archers rethink whether they should have used bows to fight me. I approached Lynn with the units on the left while warping some units on the right to be able to attack her. After surrounding Lynn, I used Lapis to finish her off with an all-for-one attack. This is the end of part 3 of my Brodia run. In part 4, I will go through chapters 18 to 20 while exploring the emblem paralogues. I hope you enjoyed this video and like and subscribe for more Fire Emblem Engage.